I don't understand. But you seem pretty animated about it. Morning, cats. No snow. Snow. No snow. Snow. Good morning and welcome back to a chilly, somewhat snowy morning on Boisterous Cock Farmstead. Got a few of those cranes flying overhead today. So last night we actually had a mix of snow and sleet, and it's been relatively cold, and it's supposed to get colder. I think the low tomorrow night is going to be 18. So I might see if I can try to wrap the well piping up a little bit with some insulation and some garbage bags just to try to keep it from freezing up. We've had a few issues recently when it just gets really, really cold, and it's not in danger of bursting, I don't think, but it just kind of makes it annoying because I don't have any water until like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. So it makes me behind on my chores. But speaking of chores, I'm going to get to those right now, and I think later today we're gonna bake another loaf of bread, so hopefully you guys stick around for that. So we've got some colder weather coming in, and I know I've talked about this before, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some old insulation that I pulled out of either the house or the trailer, one of the two, that was clean, and I'm gonna wrap and cover some of these pipes here and secure it so that the wind's not gonna blow it around. And then I'm gonna tip this cover back over on top here, and hopefully that's enough to keep from this feed line going towards the house from freezing up. So let's see how we do. All right, so hopefully this will actually keep us from freezing up here. We'll know in the next day or two, because we're supposed to get down to 18 degrees, I think, tomorrow night. So I'm gonna get out of this wind and here shortly I'm gonna start my second loaf of bread. So hopefully you guys stick around for that. All right, so I am getting ready to bake this bread. This has actually been in the refrigerator for almost 24 hours. So it's a little bit different. The other one that I baked last time and split into 2 loaves was only in for about 12 hours. So we'll see how much difference there is with letting the yeast work a little bit longer, even if it is at a refrigerated temperature. Yeah? Do you want to talk too? Do you want to talk too? So just take it out like 45 minutes to an hour before baking is what the recipe has said. And I'm going to do a little bit different. I think I'm going to keep this one in as one big loaf. And I'm going to try to keep from getting any flour on the top. Whoa. You okay? Try to keep from getting any flour on the top of the loaf. And I'll score this one as well. So a couple changes and we'll see how it goes. The consistency of the previous loaf was pretty much like sourdough. It just didn't have that sour taste to it. And I found another variation of pretty much the same recipe, except instead of 2 teaspoons of active yeast and a short active time or proofing time, it actually has a lower amount of active yeast. It's like an 8, I think. It was a 1/4 teaspoon instead. But it actually had a longer room temperature resting period. So it was a 24-hour room temperature resting period versus the 2 to 3 hour resting period and then letting it sit in the refrigerator. So that will be the next one, and I'll kind of just compare all 3. So another thing that I wanted to do, I keep forgetting to do this when my son's awake, and I only think about it. I seem to only think about it when he's sleeping. Is actually a lot of the information that I've found about these baskets here is that you need to sprinkle them with rice flour or a combination of regular flour and rice flour to help them to keep from sticking to the fabric or the liner there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break out my NutriBullet with the milling blade, and I'm just going to take I'll probably just do the maximum amount, which looks to be about 2 cups or 1.5 cups or so, but I'll measure this out, put it in here, and then I'm just going to run this and make some rice flour. 1 1/4, 1 1/3 cup, somewhere around there. Goodness. What are you saying? What are you saying? What? I don't understand. But you seem pretty animated about it. Oh yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah? So that actually got it pretty fine. Now if I was really concerned about this, I would say that's plenty fine for dusting for what it's going to be used for. If I was really concerned about making this a little bit finer, I just run it through a sifter or a sieve or something like that, which I may do when I'm actually putting it in the basket. But I'm not quite going to use the basket yet. I wanted to try out a couple of these recipes here, and one of those I might actually put in the basket during the resting period, whichever of the three that I like the best. Well, actually there's only 2 recipes, so like I said, the first one was I just put a little bit too much flour down and rolled the loaves in the flour, and it didn't quite get that nice crispy layer on the top part. It was just kind of more of the same, like what the bottom feels like, is where it's got the flour and is a little tougher on there. So still good, but always looking to improve. So alright, so I've got the oven heating up to 475. I'm going to just take this out of the bowl. I'm actually using this scraper here that has rounded on one side and flat on the other 3. A little bit of cornmeal. I'll use some of this rice flour here in my hands. I'm going to take the straight lawn that came with the kits that I showed you, and what should we do here? Let's do one in the middle. We'll do, oh, grabbed a little bit. So definitely not the prettiest thing in the world, but it should make for a little bit more like a sandwich loaf. Probably won't get too high, maybe get 2.5 inches high or whatever. But that's part of this, is like, if I can do this stuff, then you guys definitely can do it too, because I've never baked bread in my life. My mom used to bake bread all the time, and I grew up eating fresh bread a lot. From local bakeries and in home and stuff like that. So that really feels like home to me. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really trying to get that for this home, is to, even though we're still not done with a lot of the construction, so that it actually feels like home a little bit more to us. So this is going to go in. I'll put it in for 25 minutes at 420 or 475, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it comes out.
Yeah, Mama needs help. Well, why don't you become big? A lot more peanuts. I'm thinking another 4 chicken Alright. Mama sees one of her unicorns. Where's...
All right, so it's allowed to rest here for a little bit. So we're gonna cut it open. Still very warm. Still see steam coming off. So I noticed it's not getting as golden brown as like the recipe shows. It's crisping up. Still nice and moist inside. Dense and spongy, I would say. So, still delicious. But the next one I'll do is the one that's actually resting in the room for 24 hours. Very similar recipe, and we'll see how that one does.